Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new review series, which I'm calling the HorrorKast. I know on my previous channel where I did like videos like this, where I would just sit in front of a camera, kind of off the cuff and talk into a microphone, where I was just reviewing all different kinds of movies. I was calling it Cinematic Chaos. I'm not really a big fan of that name, and I feel like HorrorKast fits a lot better because with this new review series, I'd really like to focus more on horror movies because I'm a big horror movie enthusiast. So I really want to talk about all types of horror movies, lesser known horror movies that are maybe more well known. And this is how I wanted to start off the series, which is talking about the new Terrifier 2 movie, which I just seen recently. I heard this was really good. I heard from a lot of people that this was a good movie, and I really wanted to see if it lived up to the hype. I did see the first movie, and I might review that sometime in the future, but for those who don't know, Terrifier is about Art the Clown. Art the Clown, in the first movie at least, is a fairly simple premise. People are stuck in an apartment, and Art the Clown is going around and killing people in very, very brutal ways. The first movie was known for its brutality as well, but really a lot of the reason why so many people are talking about this one is because of how brutal it is, and it is brutal. I've seen a lot of movies though, so I'm not very squeamish. So a lot of the kills in this movie did not make me want to throw up into a bag like a lot of people are saying, or leave because, oh god, it's just so horrible. It's so I can't take it. But a lot of the reason why I don't really get that disgusted as well, like aside from just me being desensitized from having seen all these different horror movies, is because I feel like there's kind of like this dark comedy element to each of these movies. You're not really supposed to take it all that seriously. So like whenever there's a death, and even though it is very messed up and brutal, I'm just kind of it's all just kind of played for it in a way. It's kind of played for laughs in a really kind of sick, twisted way with how Art kind of reacts to every time he kills people, with his expressions and his because he's more of a mime clown, so he's kind of just making these silly faces and just reactions to every time he's killing people, and like I said, just playing with the corpse and doing all this just all these different comedic things. I just don't feel like you're supposed to be all that. The reaction is more so like, oh, this is kind of funny in a really, like I said, a really sick, twisted way, and not really, you're not, I mean, yeah, of course, you're supposed to feel disgust, but at the same time, it's kind of like the movie's trying to say, like, hey, this is not meant to be taken seriously, of course. But anyway, so Terrifier 2 picks up exactly, like, right where the first movie left off. Art had basically been, well, we are to assume he's dead, but of course, he's a slasher movie villain, so he's not dead. He basically comes back to life after being shot in the head, and he kills the mortician that was, the mortician that was looking over his body. He kills him in a very brutal way, and he escapes. And we go into a time skip. It's a year later is where Terrifier 2 takes place, and instead of kind of focusing on kind of a small group of people. There's still kind of a small cast in this, but it's a little bit different. Like, this movie focuses more on this family that has some vague connection to Art the Clown, and that their dad was drawing Art the Clown, and he had these newspaper articles about Art the Clown, and like he was researching him, and their father like mysteriously not mysteriously, but I mean he killed himself, and he had a brain tumor. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in that regard. I'm not going to spoil things in this review. I'm just going to kind of go over the basic plot. But basically, this family is being terrorized by Art the Clown. The daughter is being followed around by him, and is eventually her brother gets captured by Art, and the daughter has to go save him and confront Art the Clown. All of her friends are kind of as well stalked by Art the Clown. Everybody she knows, all the people she comes across are being killed by Art the Clown. Fairly simple plot, and it's a slasher movie, and it should be. I feel like that's how it should be. It should be fairly simple and straightforward. But what was a little bit more interesting about Terrifier 2 is it adds in supernatural elements. Of course, Art the Clown being a slasher movie villain, he's not going to die. He's going to come back, and of course, there's that supernatural element there where you can't really kill Art. And, but we don't really know exactly, like, Like, is Art a demon? Like, what's his deal? Like, we still don't know. Like, in some slasher movie franchises at this point, we would have like a pretty good grasp. Like, okay, this is what this villain is. This is what kind of thing he is. If he's a supernatural entity or something. This movie, it's not as straightforward with it. There is this like creepy mime girl that also has, the creepy mime clown makeup sort of following him around. And we don't really know what the deal is with her. We do get see a newspaper article about her at some point. So I guess she was one of Art's victims, but they never really go into it. And I was gonna criticize that, but I kind of like that they're kind of being very vague about some of these elements, specifically in regards to the daughter, like her dad, and what happened to him, and how he's connected to Art the Clown. I thought it was kind of weird that they didn't go into that, but I feel like maybe they're saving that for a third movie, and I feel like that's what a lot of these things that get brought up and just not really gone into, they're saving it for a third movie, because there is also some magical things going on in this as well in regards to the daughter, and she's making this like Viking, or not Viking, but a Valkyrie outfit for a Halloween party she's going to, and the Valkyrie was, she said that it was something her father wanted her to wear, like it was something he drew up in one of his sketches, and I feel like there's maybe a deeper thing behind that, because there's also it is a bit of a spoiler, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's a magical sword, or like a dagger that she has that basically plays a role in her kind of fighting against Art the Clown. And there are a lot of questions there. There are a lot of questions in regards to like why Art went after them specifically, and why he kind of, let's just say, did not treat them the same as his other victims. So there's a lot of theories that I have about that I don't want to go into, because it's not a spoiler review. So I'm going to be vague about that. But yeah, so basically that's pretty much the general premise of Terrifier 2. But this movie is also pretty long. It's 2 hours and 18 minutes. It's much longer than the first one, which was like an hour 30 or something like that. And it didn't really feel that long when I watched it. I was going to say the movie, like initially in this review, I was going to say like, okay, the movie feels kind of bloated at some points, but I really thought about it, and I don't really think it does, because a lot of the scenes where I feel like, okay, this could have been cut, like if you think about it, a lot of, it's stupid things, of course, like the daughter, like Sienna is her name, Sienna and her friends going to a party, just being dumb. Like, I don't think she's supposed to be a teenager. I guess dumb young adults, I guess, doing stupid shit on Halloween. And I mean, yeah, of course, that's not entirely necessary. It's not the most relevant thing to the plot. I guess except just to show that her friends are, maybe just stupid, or, they do stupid things, or, typical things that girls, I guess, around that age would do, but that's all that's really there for. And I mean, I feel like it does serve some kind of purpose, just to kind of give us an idea of like who these characters are. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was necessary. So I don't know if I would cut most of it. And if you think about it, like a lot of other slasher movies are like this. It's just a longer version of that. We just have more scenes like that, and we see Art killing more people. So there's a lot of that going on too. But at no point did I really feel like this movie like drug on or anything like that. Like it's like that it had a lot of scenes that didn't need to be in the movie. I felt like most of what was there was necessary for just kind of establishing different characters and just showing where the general plot was going, whatever plot there is. But it's a fun time as well. Just, I mean, the movie's doesn't have the most complex plot ever, and it's a slasher film. Like, you're kind of there just to enjoy the kills, and also just to kind of be entertained by Art's, just ridiculous ways in which he kills people, and is just the like I said, the dark comedy element of it as well. It's just, me and my friend were kind of laughing a few different times at just the things that Art would do. Because, for instance, there is a kill in this movie where he like blows a woman's head off, or mostly just blows her head off, and later on, like, sets her up like at the end of a dining room table and is feeding her mashed potatoes in her like face hole where her face used to be. And it's just, it's hilarious. Like it's dark. It's a dark comedy. It's dark comedy stuff, and I find that shit, like, maybe it's because my mind is messed up too, but I find that stuff funny. And I just had a really good time with this movie. Like, a lot of the kills were entertaining to watch. Like, there was one in particular that a lot of people were saying they walked out because of that particular kill, and I really didn't think it. I mean, of course it's pretty terrible, but it's I felt like it was a little bit overhyped. Like, it's something I've seen before, but I'll kind of spoil one thing about it. A character does get scalped, so yeah, there's that, and then there's other stuff that happens to her. But if you've seen, especially if you've seen older Italian horror movies, this is nothing new. But the effects as well. Speaking of the kills, I was really impressed by a lot of the practical effects. You could tell that Damien Leone, the director, had a bigger budget for this movie, and it definitely shows in the effects, with the practical effects and the way in which the kills are carried out, and all the, of course, the different locations that he's filming in, and the various different actors that are involved in this, as even people like Chris Jericho at one point shows up in the post-credit scene, which was kind of surprising. So yeah, he's in here briefly. But yeah, I thought that this movie was great. Like, it leaves you with a lot of questions, but not in a way where it's like, okay, this is a plot hole or anything like that. Obviously, it's something that's being set up for another potential sequel, and I really like that. It makes you just, craft all the people come up with different theories, and and again, like I said, it's not a complex plot. It's fairly straightforward. It just has these things that are added in, like the supernatural elements that make you ask all these questions. They are presented to you, but they're not really gone much into, and I think that's the perfect way to do it. A lot of what's done here somewhat actually reminds me of what they tried to do, at least with Halloween 6, with Michael and the cult and all that. It kind of gave me that vibe. Maybe I'm really far off on that, but I really felt like that was not done very well there. It wasn't executed well. Here, I feel like that it is executed well, because it definitely introduces the supernatural stuff, but it doesn't really, give you a lot of answers. And I'm really hoping that maybe for the next movie that we're not given everything, but I feel like what should be done is we're just kind of drip fed the answers to what's going on through, like, each movie for however long that Damien Leone wants to continue the Terrifier series or whatever else he wants to do. But okay, again, I really enjoyed this movie, and I wasn't sure about what kind of rating I was going to give it. So just to let you guys know, for this series, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing number ratings, because I feel like those are just kind of, everybody's done it before. But the same thing can be said for this new rating system I have, but I just feel like, I don't know, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to be doing either 2 thumbs up, which means it's amazing and everybody needs to see it. 1 thumb up, which means it was really good. It was good, but not great. Or just sideways thumb, which is, I'm not really sure how to feel about it. Like, it was okay. Or a thumbs down, which I didn't like it. Or just 2 thumbs down. It's the worst thing ever, pretty much. So that's pretty much how I'm going to be handling these from now on. But this movie, I wasn't sure, because, like, I was thinking, well, maybe it's not for everybody. It's not going to be for everybody. There are some horror movie fans that might not like, maybe they don't like clowns, even though they like other horror, things in horror movies, or they just can't handle, like, gore over a certain level. So even though I think you should take that into consideration, I think if you know what you're getting here, you're getting a straight up slasher movie that isn't trying to be anything more than that, and is really just trying to be basically bigger and better in a lot of ways than the original movie. I think if you know what you're going into, you're going to really have a good time with this movie. That being said, I want to say this one is definitely 2 thumbs up for me. I really, really enjoyed it, actually. I was kind of surprised, because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I liked the first movie, but I didn't like it as much as I liked the second one. The second one, it's definitely one of the best horror movies I've seen this year. I would go as far as to say that. And I've seen a few different ones this year, but this is the best one I've seen so far in 2022. There could be something that comes out later before the year's over that could surpass that, but so far, this is definitely one of the best I've seen. So What did you guys think about Terrifier 2? Have you seen it? Let me know. And what are your theories in regards to like what happened in the movie? Just be sure to, tell everybody like, spoilers just in case they click on it or something. Like I don't want to spoil certain things because there are some interesting elements of the movie that I, of course don't want to spoil. But anyways, until next time, guys, I will see you all later.